So I wanted to do a quick one on a couple of things that are going on over here that we just saw today. It's the 17th of December and I've just done a clip and I listened back to it and I was getting a bit ranty, so I thought I'd do another one and keep it a little bit short, or try and keep it a bit shorter anyway, and a little bit less serious, but I was having a right go, so here we go. So anyway, yesterday our friend Shirley, alright Shirl, she said that they were in a protest down in town, down in our little town by the river, to do with we don't know what. Anyway, so I thought I'd have a look and see what was going on. And apparently it seems to be, and I'm not sure whether it was the case here, but it's a protest over, the farmers are protesting again over another load of made up nonsense directly aiming at nature and animals. And apparently all our cows here have a possibility of carrying what's called lumpy skin disease, right? I mean, where have you heard all this before, right? Apparently monkey you know what and so on, pig flu, all that rubbish, right? So anyway, the old farmers are pissed right off about all of this because of course they buy into it and think that it's all real. And apparently they're going to be like killing off all these animals. Well, this is something that we saw in the UK many moons ago, as Dom and Chris talked about the culling of the sheep and all this kind of stuff, with no proof that any of these animals ever had anything in the first place. But everybody goes along with it, right? And as I was just saying in my last one, before I decided to redo it and not be quite so pissed off, I suppose is the word, is that these protests that people do, they serve no purpose at all, right? What, 0.5% of a purpose? I don't know, but they don't serve any purposes. They never get you anywhere, right? It doesn't change anything, right? And what they do here, what they've done here over the last few years is they've turned all the signs upside down, right? The old street signs of the towns, villages. You know, so I'm sure old Macaroon and his cronies are all sitting around going, "Oh dear, what are we going to do? They've turned the signs upside down." It's like they don't give a shit. You're wasting your time, right? It's absolute waste of time. Anyway, on that note, I was going to say quickly as well, which I left off from my one from the 16th, a day or so ago, was, isn't it funny how all the YouTube channels are being reinitiated, right? And everybody's like patting themselves on the back thinking that they're doing this because we're winning. It's like, no, they're not doing that because you're winning. They're doing it because they now have decided what a great way to monitor people and monitor how these connections work with various organisations and so on and so forth. I never had mine taken down, although I did have a couple of videos taken down. And now they don't seem to care what you say, and there's a reason for that, right? Anyway, on that note, just quickly, we watched a great one with Sam William this morning, where he went down to a thing. I think it was at the weekend, so that would have been on the 13th, where there were 3 protests going on at the same time. One to do with racism, which is ridiculous that that's still going on. Because it's absolute nonsense, right? Okay, I know plenty of people from around the world. I don't know anybody who's a racist, right? There's obviously a few people out there who've got a problem, full stop, right? But the funny thing about that was that the signs were saying about immigrants and refugees welcome, and it's like, yeah, absolutely, mate. Who's going to pay for it, right? So if some bloke came out and he's talking to this woman, she's standing there with her green hair or whatever, waving her cardboard banner, and he says to her, "Look, all right then, I totally agree with you. Where do you live?" And she says, "Oh, I live in Islington." He goes, "All right then, how many rooms have you got?" And she goes, "I've got 3." And he says, "You live on your own?" She says, "Yes." He goes, "Right, you're now going to take 3 refugees into your house or your apartment. I guarantee you she's not going to be too impressed about that." You might get the odd one or two who'll go, "Yeah, I'll sign up for that." Or if they turn around and tell you, "Oh, by the way, we're now going to raise your taxes by 10% to pay for all of this." Remember, it's all a control technique. Now, I am not the kind of person that says people should not be considered and looked after. Of course they should, but this is not the way it works with these bods, right? So you got that, and the other thing that was really funny was that Sam went down to the end of this protest thing. There, 3 of them in a row. One was to do with that knobhead T. Robinson. We won't go into that bloke, obviously bought and paid for, but they had a thing, the digital ID protest, and there was hardly anybody there. Oh, David Icke was there spouting it off, anyway, so the funny thing about all that was that the people that were there, they all had their mobile phones out, right, and they're being filmed whilst they're doing it. And you got this woman, I don't know who on earth she was, but anyway, you got this woman with black hair, right, you got this great big screen and PA system and everything, but the people that were there all had their mobile phones out. I imagine that they were probably all online, right, through the old data. They're telling you there what that data thing is for. It's not for giving you data, it's for taking your data where you are. I suspect they were all on Sadbook, Sphinctogram, X-Shitter, all those ridiculous sites. And they probably all do online banking on their phone. They already have your digital ID. Wake up to that, right? You're protesting about something that is already 80% in play. And I would imagine a lot of those people, anti-government people, all went along with the old Britney Spears concert ticket purchase, the old 3-dart finish, and probably most of them had the NHS app on their phone. Now, maybe not, but I would suspect as creatures of habit. So I thought that was quite funny that they're ranting and raving about something that they already have. And they might not have all your medical history, but without a doubt they have your IP address, they have exactly who you're connected with, who you're connected to. They've already got you, so you're wasting your time, just like with all these protests. Anyway, I've kept it a bit shorter because my last one was a bit, I was getting a bit wound up talking to myself. Anyway, I think that's about it on this one, but interesting stuff. What do you do if the authorities, along with the local police and that, turn up on your land? I am sure there are legal procedures where you can tell them without any physical evidence there's nothing they can do. Get off my fucking land and you better come back with an arrest warrant. And certainly protesting, stopping the public, which is what the farmers have done here, a lot of them, from accessing schools, hospitals, stuff like that, is not the way to go, because you need the public on your side and you won't get it if you do that kind of shit. So here we go. There's another little one. And as I said on my last one, it was great to see some great little comments on the old Crisis Cast thing with me and Sarah. Appreciate that. And it is a funny one. There's no getting around it. It's all staged, right? I mean, if you believe that after what we showed you there that any of it's real, I really don't know. Anyway, it's a beautiful, chilly Wednesday afternoon, and I'm signing out.